This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
The essence of divine love, the seed of the human expression of love, is impersonal and therefore passionless. In a sense, divine love is detached, emotionless. Detachment should not be misinterpreted for lack of caring. We are emotionally attached when we expect validation and recognition from another. When we try to find ourselves through someone else, we end up losing ourselves. We attain emotional freedom when we enter the divine heart within our own heart. For it is there that the flame of unconditional, impersonal divine love burns. Unspoiled by the ego and untouched by human consciousness, the divine heart clearly sees the light and darkness of the human soul and loves both equally. When we experience imbalance of any kind, it is because our lack of love, particularly self-love, prevents us from allowing God within to fully love us. We are taught to love God, but the real challenge is to let God love us by loving ourselves. To love oneself is the ultimate divine command. Excerpt from Childhood to Christhood. Valeria interviews Jocelyn Renucci. She is the author of From Childhood to Christhood, a journey into universal divine consciousness. Born in Paris, Renucci set out on her own while she was still in her teens. Her work and travels took her to New York City and Mexico, and finally to Sag Harbor, New York, where she found her home and herself. A successful businesswoman, she is presently at work on her second book, which will show her readers how she has put the lessons she has learned into practical use in everyday life, and how they can too. Meet Jocelyn at jrenucci.com. Here's the interview with Jocelyn Renucci.
In your own words, who is Jocelyn Renucci today, at this very moment?
Well, today, at this very moment, Jocelyn Renucci is a very happy human being.
Yes, wonderful.
Yes. I have, next week is my birthday, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
And, I am getting older, but this is the best time of my life. And I am really grateful for the experience and all the journey that brought me to this moment where, I feel good within myself. I wish I had a younger body and, that would be nice. But I have never been so happy in my life. And now my life is just about enjoying myself, but not in a selfish way. That's not what I mean. But, just appreciate life and do things that I love to do and share myself basically every day in any way that I can. So that's me today, and that's the answer to the question.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one, a happy one, of course. I love your laughter. Happiness. So this is something that seems an idea, and this concept that we are all after. Happiness, true happiness, joy. How do you define happiness? I know you described that now is the best time of your life, but for most of us, what would you say could lead us to this feeling of happiness?
First, I think happiness is a moment,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I feel happy right now,
Yes. Mm.
I don't know, it's a moment, it's a feeling of a moment. It doesn't last. Joy, I think, is a deeper feeling. Joy is a joy lasts. You can be joyful and enjoy every moment. So I think there is a little bit of a difference between the two. And how why do I feel so much joy now? Because honestly, I work very hard all my life on myself, to get to know myself, to transform myself, to expand myself, and little by little, that love that comes from within, that confirmation of who you are, kind of invade you and invade your life, and finally you are, and not 100%, but like
Yeah.
a good 80% maybe.
Yeah.
And so it's an inner joy, really. It's an inner joy, and then you see it everywhere, and one day goes and another come, and that doesn't mean that from time to time something happened that is sad, or but still, I feel it's a joy and it's a peace, but
Yeah.
I work to get to that point. It just doesn't
Yes.
happen by itself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's also a certain detachment to, when you're young, everything is important, and you think a lot and blah blah blah. But now I just live.
I love that.
you know and
Yeah.
and it's good. It's good, but I work very hard to get to that point. I will tell you that, because I was not born like that. I was not born like that. I was miserable most of my life, honestly.
Yes, me too. I've been very unhappy most of my life, Jocelyn. Yes.
So you have to work at it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very important and empowering message. We need to work at it. That's true. I love the distinction between joy and happiness that you just made. It resonates true to me. Joy being something connected to peace, inner peace, and self-discovery, self-knowledge. Would you say that's also byproduct of self-healing and spiritual understandings?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So perhaps it would be a good idea, in a brief way, for you to share your own story. I know you wrote a whole book about it. The book's called From Childhood to Christhood, A Journey into Universal Divine Consciousness. What's not to love about the title even? So talk to me for a moment about the book and your story. How did you get to this moment?
I was born to a mother that was a very difficult person, and I was not given any kind of love from her. Uh, Actually, she was very mean. So it completely disturbed my view of life, because all the things that society and people say are normal, what a mother is supposed to give a child, I had no clue, because she was my sole parent. And not only she was not really able to love me, but she was in a way destroying me, like putting me down all the time. I mean, very, very difficult. She was what we call a malignant narcissist. So it was very, very difficult, but that's all I knew. you, you know what I'm saying? That's all I knew. But so life was not making any sense to me at all. And so that was my childhood. So from that, what, of course, I did not realize it at the time, but I keep creating the same scenarios in my life, and so I kept perpetuating that same circumstances where I'm going to be put down, let down, criticized, unloved, and all of that. So that was one part of my psyche. But the other part is that inside of me, I had this strength since I'm a little girl, really, and it just did not fit. It did not fit. Something was not right, and so because of that, I searched the answer. I searched to understand, but at the beginning, I didn't know about spirituality and any of that. I was more into philosophy and trying to understand, always trying to understand, but always being kind of perturbed and in a way, I'm normal. I could not sense life. I could not understand anything. And so, and I could really have no love in my life because, God forbid, if you love me, then I have always associated love with hate, really, and meanness. So if you came to me in love, I will reject you immediately.
Right.
Not that I am proud of it, but that was
Yes.
like an ingrained reaction.
Right.
And so because of that, I don't want to talk too much about that because it's very difficult, but because
Yes.
of that, I look for the truth because I had this strength within me, this voice that was saying, no, that's not the truth. That's not who you are. No, 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 no. And I'm like, what, and so then after philosophy, I was really much into that, and that led me to spirituality and understanding, and that's when I started my path, my spiritual path, let's say. So of course I read a lot. I study. I never had a master or anything like that, but I did read many, 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 many books, and I always take here and leave it there, because is what I told you last time. It's very important to use discernment in anything you read or anything you told, and so I started my journey, and that's what I explain in the book. I basically destroy myself and rebuild myself.
Yeah. Yes.
And but that took most of my life, and but I did it. It was a very difficult work because maybe I asked too much to do at once, but this is what I did. And why did I have a mother like that? I don't know, but I know that if she had been different, I may not be who I am today either, because I was forced, to fight and to get out of that negativity, that difficult, painful circumstances. So I forgot the question, but that's pretty much, the basic of my life and why I changed and why I took on the path.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm familiar with your path and not just resonate with it, but I relate to the story. I have a similar story. So, how do you make sense today of this movement, the experience of suffering, being born in a family that they are already abusing us and really treating us in a way that doesn't feel right, doesn't feel loving for sure. So, what did you find when you looked closer into it? Did you actually try to find those answers, universal answers for why do bad things happen to good people?
For sure, I ask myself. I mean, do I have the absolute answer to that question? No, but I ask myself that question for sure, understanding why. Why was I born in those circumstances that were, really, really hard? I mean, because talking about abuse, my mother was not abusive physically, but I suffer enormous emotional and mental abuse, and it distorted my entire life. But so I asked myself that question, so then I'm thinking, okay, was it karma? I'm telling you my way my mind went. So I said maybe it was karma, and maybe I was very mean in another life. I don't know,
Yes.
but karma put us together. So then I said, okay, maybe she was put like that in my life so that, maybe I was to show her a different way to be, and so I don't know. And then I thought to myself, well, if my mother had not been who she was, I may have had a nicer life, but I may not have progressed spiritually in the way that I have, so maybe that was my challenge, so I cannot answer for other people, but I asked myself that question and I gave myself different response. Now, what is the truth exactly, why and why not, I do not know. But, I think, and my mother, I forgave. That was very difficult. But, and so, in my forgiveness, I always ask that, any karmic tie between she and her and me be cut off, that we are not attached to those karmic negative tie anymore, so that by freeing me, I free her too.
That's true. Yes.
And so that we are both free, and that, my mother is still alive, but like it feels like our path in that life is over. There is no more that negative attachment. I mean, not 100%, because it's very, very difficult, those situations, with the narcissistic like that mother. But, to forgive and to let go and to move on,
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Wow. I'm sorry about what you went through, Jocelyn. And I do say I'm sorry to myself too, to my old self when it comes to that. Yeah, it feels like a past life. You're right. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. We don't know for sure, but there is a reason somewhere,
Right. So when you said something interesting. So remember when you say, and this is in psychology, it's been said many times, and you just repeated the whole concept of being traumatized and then trying to recreate, reenact the circumstance again so we can try to do it differently, so we can try to make it right. So you went in life attracting or being in similar situations. It was my case as well. So, and so many other people that I talked to. So that feels, or it seems like that's what happens with when we lose the body. There's something that continues, that doesn't die with the body. And that might be those impressions, might be those mental mind content. And that's why probably you and I and so many other people were born in families like that, because we were still trying to recreate the situation to make it right. I mean, that's how I make sense of that these days.
It's a possibility. I don't know. There is a lot of possibility. And you know what? There might not be one answer. Like, the reason why you were born in your circumstances might be completely different. The reason for why I was born in my circumstances. I don't think we know. And honestly, in the end of the day, maybe it's not so important to know. I think maybe what is important is what we do with it. Because, not to talk about me, but we talk about that, just an example. I had a lot of choice. I could have become, now not so much, but before I used to say I am a miracle, because with the way I was raised, I could have killed myself, honestly. I think if I had stayed in France, I may have killed myself, because I probably could not, or maybe I could have gone in a different way, I could have drink or take drugs or get married to a very abusive person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I did not do that. I went to the spiritual route, somebody else may have made other choice. So in the end of the day, I think that's why it's not important why. What's important is what you do with it.
Yes, I agree. But it seems like not to be a choice, right, Jocelyn?
It's a choice. It's a
Doesn't,
choice.
do you think it was a choice? But we don't know how we came to that choice, because you just said, you just gave me like a lot of pictures here, a lot of possibilities that could have happened, this could have happened, but didn't happen. So this happened instead.
Well, because I made the choice. But also, it is possible too that, we are not all born at the same level, because remember, we talked about that last time. I believe, and I hope so, that we carry on the knowledge that we acquire in past life, right? We might not remember it. We might not remember it. There is some sort of forgetness,
Yes.
but we still have it inside.
Yes.
So, that's why every situation is different, because we all different in some way. We carry so much, because we carry all our life, all our past life somewhere in our I would not say our memory, maybe our consciousness, maybe our cells. I don't know where we carry it, but it's all there. So I think it's very difficult to know why and why not. That's why I think what's important is what you do with what you are given.
Yes, that's a very relevant way of seeing the world perspective. And I absolutely see that being almost inevitable when you get to know why you are in a situation, then we start to change. But I know when you said that, I had a smile on my face about, we don't need to know everything. And maybe not everything, but I do have this very strong pull towards knowledge, because I know knowledge is the antidote to ignorance. So I don't want to continue to be ignorant, in a sense, not a pejorative way. I don't want to ignore what is true, what is here, perhaps that I don't want to see, but it's important to see. So it's very important that I keep myself open. I do feel that knowledge is an antidote to ignorance. And the ignorance is the cause of evil, of suffering, unnecessary suffering, perhaps.
Valeria, I think that whatever is important to you, if you search for it, is going to come for you. You know what I'm saying? So like, if it's very important to know for you why I was born in such circumstances, and if you start your journey within and all of that, at one point you're going to have an understanding of why. Like for me, for instance, my choice, if you want, my understanding, what I think now is that thanks to my mother, I was able to go further into my spiritual path. Now, I could have chosen, something nicer, but
yes, right.
And so I find my peace, and I accepted that. What's the word I'm looking for? That's the reason. And my mother, she maybe, for her, I don't know, maybe it was a sacrifice. Everything is possible, but I don't know. She had her reason to be who she was, and I hope that maybe just by me working, cutting the ties of those karmic ties or whatever, and going to forgiveness and all of that, I hope that, as I said, that my journey was also beneficial to her.
Yes, I believe that. And hopefully, it's not a belief system. But there's something that resonates true about healing ourselves. It's also a door for others to heal themselves, or we're automatically healing them. And there's something that resonates true when I hear that. So when I speak of knowledge in that sense, it's nice. And I think I did that before. I was trying to know everything, why this happened to me and all that. That was my first questions. And then it evolved it has been for the last 10 years, into just universal, fundamental truth. Like, what is something that it's here that I know if God exists, it has to be here now. It's not after death. It's not out there. It's here. And that's where my exploration started really. And then I know that seems like has nothing to do with the suffering, but it has everything to do with it. I think the more we detach ourselves from the idea of God or the divine, the more we suffer because we are the divine. We are God, but not the body mind, though. And a lot of people confuse that when they hear I am God as the body and mind, although it is under God, but it's not what God is.
Well, I would agree with you that a lot of the suffering come from mankind disassociation with the divine and that ego that took over and all the selfishness and the greed and I think yes, that suffering comes a lot from that. We do not, I don't believe we have to suffer, but mind created suffering. God did not. I don't think so. I think it's a human creation, by the false belief, the false thought form, the disconnection, the disconnect. We are disconnect from ourselves. We think we don't think, but we are completely disconnect from ourselves. We are therefore disconnect with others. We disconnect with God. I mean, when I say a general, no, but and then here we are. We have a world that is completely insane, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Yes.
There can be lesson to learn and all of that, but it doesn't have to be the way it is. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yes. I have. That's a very, very intuitive of you. That has been my intuition too. Yes, it doesn't have to be this way. Since I was very little, that was very clear to me. It doesn't have to be this way, right? You said something interesting, very interesting now. I was about to make a comment and I forgot. So the passage that we are discussing today is from your book. It's chapter 17, titled The Divine Heart. So you say exactly what you said now, basically. So we are creating our own suffering because of the disconnection. But you say it differently. You say we like to think of ourselves as loving, caring, and generous people. However, the world's not a loving and selfless place, which means that we must not be as loving, caring, and giving as we think we are or as we can be. When I read that, so I stopped and then I was reflecting. And the first question that came to mind was this idea that I can't be. I know it sounds sad, actually, even to contemplate that I cannot be as loving as I think I am or I could be. But this is a contradiction for the heart or the heart's energy, in a sense, because that's what it lives for. It can only love. So how can we? I understand about not liking something, but we don't have to like behaviors, violence, and all the craziness around us, and I agree. But love is something that's beyond all that, isn't it, Jocelyn?
Well, I think love. What is it really, love? You know what I'm saying? It's a word we use very carelessly.
Yes, true. Yes.
There is, like even sometimes people say, "Oh, I'm doing that in the name of love," and it's like, "No, you're not.
Right.
You're doing that out, for your own self." So I think love, we have to be very careful in the way that we use love. The human, so-called human love, what is it really?
Yeah. How would you define love, Jocelyn, for yourself?
Well, it's very hard to define love, really, but if I was to, I would say, love is acceptance, I think. The first thing is acceptance, but I would say love is all encompassing. Love
Yeah.
is beauty, is joy, is abundance, is peace. All of that is love. Now our human love, love each other and love our spouse, love our children, that sometimes is a bit a distorted version of love.
Yeah, true.
Because
True.
you can only love through your own perception of love. Like, for instance, me, I could not love because I had no understanding of love. How could I love? I did not know, and so that's a little bit misuse, I think, sometimes,
Yes,
love.
I agree.
I forgot the question, Valeria.
Yeah, what's the latest one was about love, what love is to you.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, love for me, and I'm not there. I am not going to say I'm there, I'm not there, but it's really to accept everything and everyone in a non-judgmental way. I
Yes.
think that is
Yeah.
love. Now,
Yes.
after that, you have and as I say, for me, love encompasses everything. If you look outside and you see something beautiful, that's love. You look at a baby, that smile at you. You have that little thing in your heart that comes. That's pure love. That the things like that. So
Right.
it's you listen to a beautiful piece of music. It's love. It's creativity. All of that is love.
Yeah, sounds like the wonderful things about life.
Yeah. But then you have the spiritual love, and that's that feeling, when you are in a deep meditation, or when you get closer to your spirit or your own self, and you feel it almost an exaltation of the heart, of course, that's it's a moment, you don't live like that, because it would be difficult for you to manage your life feeling like that all the time. But
Yes.
that's the divine love. I call it the divine love.
Yeah. So
And that's what you find in the Sacred Heart.
yeah. So there is a distinction between the human love and divine love, right?
Well, I think so. Maybe there should not be,
Yes, right,
but I
Jocelyn.
think there is.
Yes, because we are not there yet, right? As
Exactly.
humans, we have not spiritualized the mind enough yet to get there. But some of us have. So listening to you, love, yeah, I hear from the human perspective, very interesting. So it sounds like it's coming from attachments and preferences, right?
Uh-huh.
It's filtered by the
And
body.
also the reflection of yourself.
Yes.
It's fake in some ways,
Right, for sure. Yes.
It's not very real. It's
Yes.
But as I
Yes.
say, I might not be the best to talk about human love, because that's something I really struggle with. Because as I say, I have not been raised with that, so I basically don't know it.
Well, it's better to go straight to divine love then. In your case, much better.
Forget. No,
Forget
you're
about
kidding,
human
but
love.
that's exactly what I did.
Yes.
No, that's exactly what I did.
That's it.
I passed the human love and I went to find the divine love, because, it was a matter of survival.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you see? Wow, that's amazing. That's a beautiful, insightful conclusion that we're just talking about something here that's, to me, it's what the message is for all of us. We don't actually need to dwell for too long in human love. If we can, we just go straight to divine love, which to me is, well, the picture I have is like the sun. Love is like the sun and illuminates everything. It's all inclusive. It's not trying to separate, oh, I'm going to shine upon this tree, but not this tree.
Oh,
So
no.
the sun is just open to everything, illumines everything without any discrimination, without thinking. Of course, there's no thinking there even.
No. And that love, that divine love, that, you expand it. For me, I like, I expand the love, and I think, because the imagination is very important, because what you think, you create too. So I almost visualize that love reaching other people that are also expanding that same love, and so that it's a big aura of love, and that penetrates everything.
Yeah.
Your home,
Yes.
all your affair,
Yes.
all everybody in your world, incarnated, not incarnated, past,
Right.
present, future,
Right.
and then you can just bless all of that,
Mm.
and if everybody start doing that, maybe we will have less suffering.
Oh, for sure. That's not even, yeah. That's guaranteed. And nothing's guaranteed, as they say, but this one is. This one has to be. Yes, if we somehow realize, that we are capable of divine love, then everything would change. But then takes work, as you said, even if we come to this understanding, we have these conversations and we realize even, wait a minute, I am the sun, in a sense of that pure love, pure consciousness, divine love, unconditional love. Then everything's possible in the sense of beauty, as you spoke earlier about acceptance, about abundance, about everything that we label as wonderful and beautiful. That would come from that point. But it takes work because we have to spiritualize the mind. The mind needs to understand that. And that's not, we have to undo, right, Jocelyn, a lot of what that has been done.
Yes, you have to clean up your act.
Yes, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like you have to call the light in, because it's like there is a light within you, and within you you are everything, right? But that's it's like the journey has passes, so before you can really realize that within you you have everything, you have to call the light from the outside, because you cannot find it in you, right? So whatever, if you are a Buddhist, is going to be Buddha, or is going to be Jesus, or is going to be the angel or the archangel, or whatever it is that you're going to connect to. You want to bring the light in. And so, you start bringing the lighting. But what happens when you bring the lighting, you start to see things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you start to see things and say, oh, well, I have to correct this or this, that's come the self-awareness. You're starting to pay attention, because that's another thing. You need to pay attention. If you don't pay attention, if you don't listen, you're just going nowhere. You have to pay attention. And then the journey starts. It's a long, long journey, and maybe it's a journey that's going to take many lifetimes. I don't know. But it's a long journey, and it's going to be easier or less easier depending, what you're asking of it. And, I said, don't ask too much, because if you ask too much, then it comes to you, and it's very hard. And so, so that's the journey. And, the more you see, the more you transform, the more you understand, and the more you get educated, if you want, first about yourself, and then you expand. It's going to expand as far as you want to let it go.
Yeah. Yes. That's beautiful what you just said too. Expanding as long as we let go as much as we can, because I know, as you said, it could take lifetimes if it's the case. It's not easy. Wow. So, Jocelyn, it has been my practices, though. So that's where I'm at now. And I have the realization already. And then I'm trying to establish the mind in that realization, which it's not easy, because the eyes, the ears, the mind has perceived so many things in people in a certain way. So now it's changing that view, the perception. It's a transformation, but it's beyond that in a way. It feels like almost like a transmutation.
Yes. Well, what I did sometime, when I knew that I had to change certain thing or certain perception, as you say, and I had I had an intellectual understanding of it, but I did not have the understanding in my heart, and so I would force the issue. I would like affirm it like it was already there, even though it was not. So if you want, I was tricking my mind. you know so sometimes you have to trick your mind a little bit, and then it changes. So it's like let's take a very simple example of forgiveness. Well,
Yeah.
simple is not so simple.
Yes.
But
Yes.
say, oh, well, I can't forgive this one for that. I can forgive this one for that.
Yeah.
So, if you say, okay, well, I forgive you, you don't really feel it in your heart. You don't, but it's important to forgive. So, you work with I forgive, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive. And so you trick your mind into accepting, that you want to forget, and then the heart will follow, or vice versa. But they will come, they will agree with each other.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But you have to do it. You have to make the effort,
Yes. Yeah.
I remember when I was first told that love is in God is in everybody, and you have to love everybody, and I'm like, oh my God,
Yes.
how am I going to love everybody? I don't like this one. I don't like that one. Look at that one. No.
Yes.
and
Yes.
and so for a long time, everywhere I went, I walked the street, and all the time in my mind, I would say to people in my mind, obviously, oh, I forgot what I say exactly, but something, I know God is within you, and I love you,
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and I did that, and I tricked my mind to not having those feeling about just judging this one, and just what I'm saying. You have to trick your mind a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. I like that suggestion. As if we're already there, right? The mind is already there.
Exactly. You're not there, but eventually,
Yeah.
as I said, they meet each other.
Yes, I love that, Jocelyn. That's a beautiful way of teaching, guiding others to get there. And I know it's a placeless place, but because it's already here, right? It's not out there. So the idea of the ego is the false self. It's actually the ego, it's that personality or the one that perceives the world as not being divine. That's what it is, right? So it's not knowing that it is divine. Would you say that? That's what the ego is?
Yeah, I think the ego forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the
Yes.
ego forgot, but maybe the ego can be reminded.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, right now the ego is that part of your. But I would not say that the ego is completely bad, because it's also the ego is challenging, and sometimes challenge is good. So,
Yeah.
but definitely, right now the ego needs to learn a lot and calm down, because it's no good.
Yes, I agree. I agree. In a sense of causing unnecessary suffering, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's for sure.
So, but in a sense, Jocelyn, in the end, let's say, I mean, now actually, to me, this is the beginning, the middle, and in the end. There's no other place to go, but everything is here. So, in the same way, I have this felt understanding that there's no two realities, but one. So the only thing that exists really, it's pure consciousness, is God. Only God exists. Only consciousness is real, per se, or exists. So if that's true, then there's no separation between the ego and God, the ego and consciousness. Without the ego, there's no consciousness, there's no way of expressing that divine energy, right?
Well, I don't know for sure, but yes, that's what I think. Maybe
Yeah.
the ego is not bad in its essence. It just became
Right.
bad because we don't use it properly.
Yes, right. And most of us are not even aware that it exists, that it's
you
doing
know?
what it does. Right. It's awareness that's very important. It's knowledge to me. I know I call it consciousness awareness too, but when it comes to the ego and the unnecessary suffering, I always go back to this idea of knowledge, because knowledge it's the antidote to ignorance. And we are ignoring something that's true here. And to me, really to bring it down to earth in a sense of my daily living human experience, is really knowing that everything is one in a sense of the essence is one. So they are different bodies, different minds, but the essence of it all is one, not two. That's Vedanta. That's one. I'm a student of Vedanta, as you know. So that resonates really true to the core. There's something about it. I was into Buddhism too. I did a lot of studies, and I became a Zen Buddhist, and then also Tibetan. I did a lot of studies and participation in the culture of Tibetan Buddhism. But then, for some reason, I've been trying different philosophies, spiritual philosophies, and then Sufism is another one, the Sufi philosophy, and then Vedanta. That's the one that resonates the most true to me. One essence for everything. I don't know if that resonates with you somehow, but that helps me every day to remind the ego that it is one with everything. So I see God in everything and everyone. It's easier that way for me.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's much easier. Does it make sense to you, this idea that there's just one essence for everything? Let's say one substance for everything that exists?
Well, that's what they say, that in the end, we all go back into oneness with all that is.
Yeah.
But that's not the way we live on Earth. On Earth, we have the ego, we have the individuality. So it's kind of hard to apply it all the time on Earth. It's like, I think it's very important to appreciate that we are incarnated in the physical body, and we are on Earth where we can touch things and see things and experience things. And on Earth, and I might be completely wrong, but I think on Earth, the goal is not to experience like we are nothing but just part of one, to experience the Earth, but through the spirit, through the love of the spirit, rather than the distortion of the ego.
Yes, yes.
So what happened when we are the Zen body and, the origin and all of that, yes, maybe yes, maybe no, but yeah, that's the idea. But I think we need to focus on how we live our life on Earth with the spirit. Invite the spirit to lead us on Earth and enjoy life this way.
Yes.
Not go into too much, in the cloud. That's that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I did want at one point to be in the cloud and never come back down. But now,
for sure. Yeah. Me too.
I really think that the lesson is to bring spirituality to the way we live our life. And when I say spirituality, I mean spirit, to bring, God, the divine, whatever you want to call it, oneness, but live it through Earth. Like, invite your spirit in your life, because here we are. And I think it's probably, it's a gift probably to be incarnated. Well, it doesn't feel like a gift sometimes, but it should be a gift. To look at the Earth, look how beautiful it is.
Yes.
So imagine to live on Earth with the understanding of what we are and our spirit, and how beautiful would that be? I mean, there are some people that live like that, and teachers, and but still, it's difficult because it's not accepted in society. Society is a little bit off now. So, it's like even people listen to us talking now and they think probably we are ridiculous because
Yeah.
they worry about the stock market, or they worry about this or what. It's like
Yeah.
we have to kind of shift.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a shift of perception because
Yeah.
when you say bring the spirit, it's actually we don't have to bring the spirit
No,
here.
no,
The
no, no,
spirit is
no. The
already
spirit
here.
is here.
It's
It's
already
already
here.
here, but
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
free it.
Yes, right. It's expressing it. It's actually letting it be
Express it.
revealed. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
here. Uncover
exactly.
it. Yes.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
that's it.
But the ego is very strong.
Yes.
The ego doesn't want the spirit because it's like, what do you mean? I'm the king of the castle, and no. So you really have to, to silence your ego. That's a job in itself,
Right. Jocelyn. It's so true. The sense of control. Yes, separation, control, trying to be better than others. All this coming from the false self, right? That the incorrect perception that the spirit is not here, ignoring the spirit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's very much. That's it. That's it. That's it. And I know when you talk about clouds, and I know I absolutely understand because we had this conversation before, and I remember you saying that when I said to you, I think about, this is a dream, it's a dreamlike reality. And I remember you and tons of people that I talk to, they don't really like the idea because it's almost like brushing it off, the human experience, the heart. So that is true. I noticed that with a lot of Vedantists, a lot of the non-duality teachers and followers and students like myself, that we tend to kind of almost be very pointed, very focused on the absolute reality. Like when I see you, when I talk to you, I know I'm talking to God. Like I know that. It's not something that I'm imagining. I know. I know the microphone in front of me. I know everything. The sounds I hear. All this is God. So it's very established. That is already here as an understanding, as a realization. But then it's hard to kind of look at things as things, like look at my husband a lot of times, and I know that he's not what I think he is, or what the ego mind thinks he is, engages with him every day as a person, as a separate being, but I know that he's not. So in a way, it's almost like I'm trying to kind of integrate those two things, the absolute reality with the relative reality, which is this one of separation of bodies and minds. But it's not easy because there's a strong tendency when we do a lot of studies like I do and a lot of practices with non-duality of focusing on the absolute. So that doesn't, it's not easy because I see a lot of times like sometimes people in my family, they die, they lose the body. And I know they still here. They didn't go anywhere. I know that. So it's really not easy for people around me to take that because I might come across a bit emotionless. But it's not really that I'm emotional. I cry, of course, emotions are here 100%. But there's something else that transcends emotions. It transcends the human from that perspective, and because it knows the truth that nobody dies, that it's impossible to die. Who dies? The idea that the ego has that we are just the body mind, that dies, of course, but nothing else dies. But I understand when you say that we need to kind of bring the spirit, as you said, although the spirit is already here, bring to this reality. Yeah, it's almost like, how can we integrate the absolute with the relative?
Well, that's balance,
Yeah,
Valeria.
yeah.
You need to find balance between the two because, like when I was younger, when I started my spiritual work, that's all that I care about, but then one day I realized that I live on Earth. I have to take care of the Earth too.
Yeah.
I have to. You need to find the common ground and the balance between the two, because here we are. And when you say when people die, I still feel them. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like, you feel them like ghosts going around you, or you feel that they are not dead. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not sure what you mean
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. If I'm close to them, I'll feel them. Yes. It's like their energies are still here. So I know they didn't die. It's only the body died.
But it's like I think people pass. It's the energy, and we go somewhere. And I think it's important to let people go wherever they're going to go. I don't think they're still here. And they're not dead
Yes.
in a sense that
Yeah.
their spirit still exists, or their soul. Because since you believe in reincarnation, we bring back our soul and all of that. But I think that when people pass on, then they move on to wherever it is they're going to go, and maybe come back, and we have to let them go.
Yes. Well, the reincarnation idea, it's not really a belief system that I have or anything like that. It's just that doesn't make sense, because just for the simple fact that we are here and we're going through all these experiences, there's something, it's causation. So it started somewhere in that sense of mind continuation. It has to, because it wouldn't make sense. It's possibilities again. So
Yeah,
it
I
had,
agree with you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that makes sense, that idea, but it's not, I don't focus on that anyway. But I do feel, though, my ex-husband passed on, lost the body, and I felt it immediately, like his presence. Before somebody told me that he was not in the body, I felt him.
Yeah. They come and
So,
say goodbye. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. No, that for sure. Yeah.
That's how I know that consciousness, whatever unites us all, it's always here. It never really, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
The body does. And I know that's what most of us miss, right? The interaction with the body mind. And we believe that that's what the person is, or the entity. We just see people as the body mind. And that's the problem. It's a limitation, because we are limitless. We are infinite. So we cannot be confined to a body mind. It doesn't make sense.
Well, we're not the body mind. We are more than that.
Of course.
We are we are a body. We have a mind. We have a heart. We have we are a very incredible being.
Yes, we are. Yeah, that's an expression, one expression of consciousness, like you, me. So it's incredible, isn't it? It's fascinating. It can be anything. It's everything at the same time. So you did say that in that passage. We're almost at the end, Jocelyn. I know I could talk to you forever. That's for sure. So the passage. So again, the title of your book is From Childhood to Christhood: A Journey into Universal Divine Consciousness. And the passage that we are talking about today is chapter 17, The Divine Heart. So there you said something that has to do with what we just discussed. You say the essence of divine love, the seed of human expression of love, is impersonal and therefore passionless. In a sense, divine love is detached, emotionless. So without emotions. That's exactly how I feel sometimes. Some of us are in touch with divine love, then we know that nothing dies, nothing really ends. It's this infinite, limitless, continuous movement. It never goes anywhere, really. And who knows, maybe it never moves. Maybe it's not even moving. We're just having the impression, the perception that it's moving. It's being multiplicity. So yeah, you did say that too, which resonated with me. Would you like to make a comment, Jocelyn, on that? Or perhaps we already talked about it.
Well, no, no comment. Like a lot of that we call love in our life, is actually attachment to some false idea, or with relationship and things like that. And we call it love, but for me it's not really love. Love is what we talked before. It's a free sharing of an emotion. It's a joy. It's a beauty. It's a and then when as I say, when you go within your heart, what I call the what do I call it? The divine heart or something? I don't remember.
Yeah, you did call it divine. Yeah, divine heart, divine
Which we
will
know.
too.
I believe we have, all of us. We have the divine heart within. Then you is that exaltation of love, but it's not when I say emotionless, I mean it's detached. It's detached. You don't expect anything from it back, or it's just there. It's just there.
Right.
To share.
Yes.
As opposed to I love you, but you give me this. I love you, but be nice to me. I love.
Yeah, transaction, right? It's a transactional kind of love.
Saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's like divine love. Divine love, it loves everybody. It loves the good, the bad. Divine love, he loves you with all your fault and all. It's just. It's like when I say, the divine love is going to love the whole of you. Us say, I love this because that's the nice part of me. I like it, but the other side of me, I don't like it. No, you need to like it too, because it's you. And then you can change and transmute and all of that, but that's divine love. Love everything.
Yes. And you said that in the book, it's very clear in this chapter. You say it's impersonal, so that makes sense because it's not attached to a person, the human body, mind. And you also talk about, you said something else. You said the divine heart clearly sees the light and darkness of the human soul and loves both equally.
You see, I say it in the book.
You say exactly that, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Now, that's the divine heart. A human person might not be able to do that.
Right. Yeah, you see, coming from the ego, it's not right. It can't be. It cannot be done. Yes.
No. It's a different journey.
So, in a way, we need to become. It's almost like less human and more divine. Wow, because the divine is not human. Isn't it interesting to realize that, Jocelyn?
I don't think we want to become less human. I think we want to invite more of the divine into our humanness. It's different.
So the other way around. Yeah. Infusing, right? Our humanness with the divine.
Yeah. We.
Yes. Yeah, I'm thinking the other way around, right? And then the last part of that was, I mentioned off record, it's really beautiful what you say about self-love too, a powerful message. You say, when we experience imbalance of any kind, it is because of a lack of love, particularly self-love, prevents us from allowing God within to fully love us. We are taught to love God, but the real challenge is to let God love us by loving ourselves. To love oneself is the ultimate divine command.
Yeah, I really believe that, Valeria. I do believe that. That's the ultimate challenge, because in order to do that, we go back to the beginning, where you have to have self-realization, self-awareness, self-knowledge, and then, we go back to where we started. That's where it starts. Unless you start there is nowhere to go, but because once you love yourself, then you love everybody. When you stop judging yourself, then you stop judging others. It's like it's automatic. You don't have to think about it anymore. So you have to get, because if you want to come back to what you were saying, that you believe strongly that we are divine, so then you have to love yourself if you believe that you are divinely,
right. Yes.
You see, so
how would you treat yourself if you knew you're divine?
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
That's true.
And how would you treat others? So I think really the challenge is to know yourself, transform yourself, love yourself, and then from that everything is possible. But you have to. It's an exercise. Like for instance, when I started my journey, I would like put the mirror, back to me, because we tend to always react and act outside of ourselves, but like when you bring everything to yourself. And so every night I will observe myself. I would like rewind the movies of the day, and I will look at how I acted and reacted, and so, because in order to change, you have to see what it is you need to change or not change. You need to know yourself, and then you realize, oh, a lot of things that I do is no good, is not, and that's where it starts. And so then the journey is okay to accept yourself and let God love you, and that is really the ultimate. Because then talking about the ego, then the ego has no place. I mean, has a place, but a different place, because then you trust the spirit or God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, to bring. It's like then life opens up in front of you instead of you running after life, and you trust that things are there for you, that things are coming for you, and there is no more worries, there is no more mental dialogue. You are a free being living on earth and trusting, that life is there to serve you as you are there to serve life. And well, I'm not telling you that I'm there yet, but that's the journey.
Yeah. Wow. But you sound very much like somebody who is always there. I don't know if you can speak that way if you're not.
I work on it all my life, and I keep working on it, and but for me, it's the only real journey worth it, because that's really, to come back to the beginning, is going to give you that joy of life,
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it. Thank you so much, Jocelyn, for being the beautiful, not just the beautiful you in the sense of the human experience, but coming from the divine heart, can be felt through the words you say, even the way you express yourself, the work that you have done. I mean, for all these years, and then the book that you have written, all these statements of that divine heart. So thank you for realizing that, for recognizing that. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
It's a prayer. It actually feels like a prayer to me when I hear myself saying that. Like, wow, this is a prayer. Yeah. That's what we need more to see in this reality. Thank you again. And for the beautiful conversation today, again, for our collaboration and for your presence in this reality. And before we say goodbye for today, where's the best place to find more information about you?
Oh, well, I have my website, which is J for Jocelyn, so Renucci.com. That's where my book is. And then, that's about it, about me. I have the Instagram and the Facebook. And of course, the book is on Amazon, and, I don't have anything more right now anyway.
That's absolutely enough. So I'll have the Amazon link linked to the podcast interview profile and also your website, of course. Thank you so much again, Jocelyn.
Well, thank you, Valeria, and we'll talk soon again.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Jocelyn Renucci and her work, please visit jrenucci.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.